Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy KCM What Ifs. Today we are gonna be reading the Sharingan Devil, or what if Naruto had the Sharingan and was a captain of the ANBU. So sit back, relax and enjoy. He looked at the fallen body of his comrade. Everything seemed to have stopped for him. He felt alone, and this pain felt familiar. Silent tears slipped from Naruto's eyes as he looked at Sai, or rather the large hole in his chest. The hole which he created. There was no movement from his friend's body, his breathing had stopped and his heartbeat could no longer be felt. But despite all of this, there was a peaceful smile on his face. It looked as if Sai had finally found a place where there was no fighting, where there were no wars, and where he could live peacefully. Baka, thought Naruto sadly, Futon Kaden Shuriken, wind release, rotating Shuriken Jutsu. Naruto heard the sound of several shuriken coming towards him, and prepared himself to dodge Sai's body, but heard another voice. Mokuton, Mokujo Hiki, wood release, wood locking wall. A large wooden wall was formed behind Naruto and Sai's position, and the shuriken attack collided with it. Naruto slowly looked up, and saw the ANBU commander was standing in front of him. So, it's already over, said the ANBU commander seriously, as he looked at Sai's body. Hi, he stopped me by placing this seal, said Naruto stoically. It seemed he had just sealed away all the emotions he had. The ANBU commander gave a short bow in order to show his respect for the young ANBU, who sacrificed himself for the village, and most of all for his friend. Commander, can you hold off Danzo for a few moments, requested Naruto calmly. The ANBU commander seemed surprised by this request, but one look in the blonde boy's eyes showed him he was already dead. He needed a moment to grieve for his friend. Got it, you have 3 minutes, said the ANBU commander seriously. He then jumped over the wooden wall, and after a few moments Naruto heard sounds of fighting. The ANBU commander was not a person who talked much. Naruto coughed up a lot of blood, but quickly brought his hand forward and did not allow a single drop of his blood to fall on Sai's body. How bad is it? Asked Naruto stoically. Kurama was quite shocked by hearing this. He expected Naruto to cry his eyes out, but it seemed the amount of emotional damage which Naruto had suffered was far worse. Are you okay? Asked Kurama in a gentle tone. He was quite surprised by Naruto's reply. We don't have time to talk about my feelings, they do not matter. I asked you a question, will you comply? Asked Naruto stoically. It's bad, you shouldn't have fallen and used my chakra. Maybe said Kurama but was cut off. Can I fight in this condition? Asked Naruto firmly. You can, but this would only damage your body more. You need to rest, advised Kurama. Thank you for the concern, but I came here to do something, and I'll finish it, said Naruto seriously. Naruto I don't want to talk, please stay quiet, said Naruto flatly. Before Kurama could reply, Naruto cut off the link. It seemed he was broken as another one of his best friends had died by his hands. Technically, it was an accident, but Kurama knew Naruto would blame himself for this. Naruto gently laid Sai's body on the ground, and wiped off a few stains of blood from his face. Rest brother, said Naruto gently. He then jumped over the wall. He saw the ANBU commander and Danzo fighting at some distance. He calmed himself down, he had nothing left to lose now. The only thing that remained was the mission and its objectives. He saw the 10 Sharingan on Danzo's arms, and his sensor abilities made him realize that Danzo's chakra was very similar to the ANBU commander. Combining both these facts, only one thing came to his mind, as he realized what Danzo was doing. And he would see that Danzo would pay for his crimes against Konoha, against every root ANBU, against Shin, against Rei, and against Sai, no matter the cost. Commander, said Naruto loudly. The ANBU commander heard his voice, and gave one kick to Danzo and backflipped away towards Naruto. So, you ready to fight together against him? He's tough and those Sharingan are a pain in the ass, said the ANBU commander harshly. He was quite surprised when Naruto stepped in front of him, and unsheathed his sword. We are not fighting together, said Naruto finally. What? That is the best choice in the current situation. Now is not the time for revenge, scolded the ANBU commander. Naruto turned around, and the ANBU commander was quite surprised by the look in his eyes. Who said anything about revenge? My feelings have been resolved, and I am focused on the mission. Sai Satu died in the line of duty. His sacrifice would help this village, said Naruto emotionlessly. He was said the ANBU commander calmly. Sai will forever be with me. He entrusted me with his dreams. He would want me to complete what we started together, said Naruto calmly. But you are not strong enough, said the ANBU commander harshly. Naruto turned quickly, and in a blink of an eye his sword was pointed at the ANBU commander's throat. His 3-tomo Sharingan looked in the commander's eyes. This is my fight. This sword belonged to my big brother, and this blood on my face is of my best friend, and the blood on this sword is of the men I killed tonight. All these deaths happened due to this man's madness. This is my mission, and I will finish it today. Back off, or I might kill you too, said Naruto murderously. His ki flared in the corridor, and the look in his Sharingan eyes showed the commander that the boy had now become a true shinobi. There was no point in stopping him now. Very well, said the ANBU commander. Commander, I have left the person whom I mentioned in another part of the base. A few of my clones are guarding the position. Please retrieve that person and take Sai's body with you. I'll finish things here, said Naruto firmly. Understood, said the ANBU commander, and then jumped away. Naruto turned around and looked at his opponent without any type of emotion on his face. His posture was calm, his eyes were firm, and his sword shined brightly with blood. Danzo finally realized something, and he gave a small nod to the boy in respect. So, you finally became a true shinobi. The look in your eyes has changed, said Danzo calmly, and took out a kunai. Naruto didn't answer but just raised his sword, and increased his ki. Let's go, said Naruto calmly. Danzo's eyes widened in surprise, as Naruto disappeared in an instant, and before he could think further, he felt a sword cut clean through his neck. But the Danzo that was killed disappeared as an illusion. Naruto performed another set of hand seals, and fired his jutsu on his left side. Suetun, Hanryu. Water release, rapid crasher. A wall of water rushed towards the left side, and a moment later Danzo appeared there, and his eyes widened in shock as he was sent crashing into the wall due to the water wall. How did he do it? Thought Danzo in shock, but he had to raise his kunai as Naruto suddenly flashed in front of him, and slashed his sword at him. The sparks flew in the air, as the metal clashed with one another. Danzo was again shocked as he looked into Naruto's eyes, which changed into Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterasu. Black flames started burning Danzo's face, but he again disappeared as an illusion. Naruto turned around, blood leaked from his eyes, but due to his sensor skills he knew exactly where Danzo was. And he was proved right, as he saw Danzo standing on top of small debris, and the man looked more alarmed than ever. How do you know where I am going to show up? Asked Danzo sternly. Naruto didn't reply and sent his sword sailing towards Danzo at high speed. The old man used his Mangekyo in order to flash a few meters away and was shocked when he saw a mass of sparkling chakra in Naruto's right arm. Chidori. Naruto's lightning ball cut clean through Danzo's chest, and the man coughed up blood and disappeared again as an illusion. Danzo appeared behind Naruto and attempted to behead him, but was shocked again when Naruto in front of him bursted into crows. A kunai cut clean through Danzo's chest, and when he looked back he saw Naruto standing in front of him. 7 more Izanagi to go, said Naruto calmly. The illusion jutsu occurred again, as Danzo again disappeared, but the shock in the man's eyes could clearly be seen. Naruto jumped towards the debris and gracefully picked up his sword. He took in a deep breath as he sensed Danzo appear on his west side again, though the man was several meters away. So you know about Izanagi, you are an Uchiha, after all. I regret the fact that I couldn't finish you with your clan on that night, said Danzo bitterly. Naruto's entire body sparkled with blue chakra, and his cold Sharingan eyes glared at Danzo murderously. Your real regret has not even begun yet. I'll tear you apart, I'm gonna rip you to pieces, and wipe you off the face of this world, said Naruto murderously. Danzo took a step back. He really was shocked with such a malicious hatred in the boy's voice, and for once in his life Danzo truly felt his life was in danger now, as he was facing a devil right now, one whose only motive was to kill him. Naruto performed hand seals, at such fast speed that Danzo couldn't copy his jutsu, even with the help of his Sharingan. Katan, Goka Mekyaku, Fire Release, Great Fire Annihilation. A tidal wall of fire rushed towards Danzo, it burned everything in its path. Danzo didn't have any place left to perform his Shunshin. Izanagi, I have 6 more chances if I include my Mangekyo also, thought Danzo and performed his jutsu. It's already over for him, thought Naruto calmly. The fire wall burnt Danzo's body as he vanished as an illusion again, and appeared behind Naruto again. He attempted to behead Naruto instantly, and swiped his kunai towards Naruto's neck. Katsu. Danzo watched in shock, as the Naruto in front of him blasted away and took it with him. Is that all? Is this your power? Asked Naruto distastefully. Danzo again reappeared a few meters away, though there were just 3 Sharingan left on his arm, and 1 Mangekyo in his eyes. The Root Commander saw Naruto floating in the air. He looked like an illusion as part of his body resembled a crow. You think this is your power? Asked Naruto patiently. You cannot defeat me. Your body is so badly damaged that even if you do survive now, you probably have a few months left to live. But I am going to win here, no matter what, said Danzo calmly. I already know the damage I am suffering, it doesn't matter. I'll heal, but you think by attaching a few Sharingan and the first Hokage's cells makes you invincible, you can never match the power of the Uchiha, said Naruto sternly. Then show me your legendary power, said Danzo as performed his hand seals. I have already defeated you, thought Naruto calmly. Danzo released a powerful wave of wind towards Naruto, but the boy again vanished in a flock of crows. Naruto flipped in the air, and released his attack in all directions. Shuriken no Jutsu. Danzo tried to dodge but he was struck by a few shuriken straight in the head, and he vanished again. Naruto stood upside down on the ceiling of the base, and watched as Danzo appeared again and looked at his arm, which just had 2 Sharingan left. No matter what he does, his body does not have the stamina which the Uchiha have, nor can he cast his genjutsu perfectly no matter how powerful his Mangekyo may be. A weapon is only lethal if used effectively, thought Naruto calmly. Naruto launched himself like a missile towards Danzo and sliced his head off before the man could even react. Naruto, you are shortening your life. If you keep this up then I doubt any human could heal your damaged body, warned Kurama. I'll do something about this problem, now let me fight, said Naruto strictly. Kurama angrily gave a punch to his cage. Why could the boy never understand? His body was so badly damaged. The effects were not visible now, but in a few days Kurama knew Naruto would see the effects. But it seemed the boy didn't care, or he was hopeful that he could find a cure for his damaged body. Kurama surely hoped it was the latter. Danzo appeared in front of Naruto. Now he only had 1 Sharingan left on his hand. Just 10 seconds, after that I will cast Koto Amatsukumi on him, thought Danzo tactically. The genjutsu of his Sharingan was very powerful, but there was a catch, he could just use it once a few months. If he had not implanted Hashirama Senju's DNA into Shursue's Manjikyu, then he doubted it could reactivate again before a few years. Danzo rushed towards Naruto, and sent a right hook towards his face, which Naruto blocked with his left hand. Naruto then gave a hard kick on Danzo's balls, and crushed them. He then grabbed Danzo's legs and dropped him to the ground. Naruto then flipped in the air and gave a hard punch that broke Danzo's skull. But the old freak vanished again. Naruto took a deep breath, and calmly looked behind him. Danzo was standing behind him, but blood was leaking from his crotch. Even if he had used his Tsunade for the last time, Naruto had destroyed his balls before he casted his jutsu. And for the first time in his life, Danzo looked pissed. "Bastard," said Danzo angrily. "I would prefer the word devil," said Naruto calmly. Danzo watched as the last Sharingan on his hand closed forever, but it was worth it. "It's over," said Danzo as his Sharingan changed to Mangekyo form. Koto Amatsukami. Danzo took a deep breath, as he was now sure he had won, but he was quite shocked when Naruto slowly started walking towards him with his sword. Koto Amatsukami. Danzo casted his jutsu again, but Naruto did not stop, nor did he bow before him. Did his jutsu backfire? "You are right, it's over, for you," said Naruto murderously. In one quick motion he stabbed his sword clean across Danzo's upper portion of chest and pinned him to the ground. "How?" asked Danzo in pain. He couldn't understand what was happening. Naruto looked at his defeated opponent in a disappointed manner. "Do you even have a Mangekyo Sharingan in your eye?" asked Naruto in an evil tone. Danzo's eyes widened in shock and fear, as he suddenly felt an unbearable pain in his left eye. "Genjutsu, Kai," whispered Naruto darkly. Danzo's horror increased further as he realized he had no left eye at all. "Ah!" Danzo screamed in pain, as the sensations finally hit him, and a large amount of blood started dropping from his eyes. "Impossible," said Danzo defiantly as he coughed up more blood, as Naruto pressed the sword in his chest more tightly. "You lost your Mangekyo very early in the fight. From the moment you looked at my Mangekyo Sharingan you were in my Genjutsu. The fact that I took out your eye, without you even realizing it, is proof of that." "Look where your eye is," said Naruto calmly. Naruto pointed his finger in another direction, and Danzo wearily saw a clone of Naruto holding the Mangekyo Sharingan in a jar. Danzo for the first time in his life felt outclassed. This boy, no, this devil had beaten him and had toyed with him during the entire fight. Naruto wanted him to feel despair. "Simply attaching a Sharingan in your body does not make you a skilled warrior. I could have killed you multiple times, but I want you to feel pain, I want you to feel misery, that you brought on all of us. I killed my friends, my comrades, but all of this would happen because of your madness," said Naruto angrily and pressed the sword deeper in Danzo's chest. Danzo closed his eyes. He was in pain. Everything was over, his dream was finished. "Kill me," said Danzo tiredly. "Your death won't be so easy. I'll make you feel pain. I'm going to make you watch as I cut every piece of your filthy body, and you won't die until I have destroyed your body and mind completely," said Naruto murderously. To prove his point, he took out a kunai and stabbed it in Danzo's remaining eye, making the old man scream in pain. Naruto then took out his kunai and started cutting Danzo's body in little pieces. He took his time, and made the man feel pain. Danzo screamed continuously, as Naruto started ripping out flesh from his stomach. It was hell, this was worse than death. Kurama watched in horror. As for the next 1 hour Naruto destroyed Danzo's body piece by piece. It was cannibalism at its best. The way the boy was acting, and the look in his eyes showed how much pain he had suffered due to this man, and he was repaying every single penny of it back to Danzo. After 1 hour, the thing that remained was horrible. Danzo was alive, but his entire body was ripped to shreds, with just a few veins holding his body. Naruto had cut him in such a way that he didn't die, and every moment he felt pain, and it became worse with each passing second. And after this monstrous torture, Danzo broke. He started crying as the pain was beyond his limit, but no tears slipped as both of his eyes were no longer there. He was coughing up blood, but he was still not dying. "Did you feel pain?" asked Naruto sadistically. Said Danzo weakly, his voice was so low. "I cannot hear you," said Naruto darkly. "Kill me," pleaded Danzo in pain. Naruto so wanted to cause this man more pain, but there was nothing left to destroy. "Beg," said Naruto firmly. "What?" asked Danzo again. He couldn't hear anything properly. Everything was blurry. I said beg, yelled Naruto angrily. Kill me, please. For your crimes against this village, my friends, my daughter, and my comrades, die you bastard. Yelled Naruto loudly. Amaterasu. Black flames started burning what was left of Danzo, as the man screamed in pain. Naruto turned around, his vision had decreased greatly, and everything looked very hazy. He collapsed on his knees and coughed up a river of blood. The pain was horrible, even though his body had not experienced so much pain before. But as he heard Danzo's last scream, only one thought went through his mind. It's finally over, thought Naruto sadly. The events of the night now finally took a toll on Naruto, as he couldn't control his pain anymore. He started crying in agony, he felt like a monster, he truly was a devil now. Everywhere around him was death, his comrades were dead, his friends were dead, his teachers were dead. Sai was dead. Please, somebody help me, thought Naruto in pain, but no one was there, he was all alone, and his cries rang unanswered in the base as he cried for the next 30 minutes. 30 minutes later. Naruto wiped away the tears from his eyes, his vision had deteriorated but he could see a little better now. He looked back and saw Danzo's entire body had turned to ash, and was now disappearing in smoke. Danzo Shimura is now dead. He was completely wiped out from the world, not a single piece of his body was left. Naruto picked up his sword and walked towards his clone. He then took the jar which had Danzo's Mangekyo Sharingan in it from the clone, and dispelled him. This eye can prove to be very useful, said Kurama calmly. Hi, said Naruto in a dead voice, let's get out of this base, said Kurama gently. Naruto looked at the corridor, it was a long way back out, and it was just going to make him feel worse. Few minutes later, Naruto slowly walked out of the root base, he was walking slowly, his eyes showed he was dead. His soul was broken. He looked ahead and saw the ANBU commander a few meters ahead, and he was healing Rei. He then slowly walked towards his daughter. How is she? Asked Naruto worriedly. The ANBU commander looked at the boy sympathetically, he now understood why Naruto couldn't kill this girl. After all, no good father could ever kill his own daughter. And Naruto was no exception either. The commander's eyes softened as he saw Naruto hug his daughter gently, and the silent tears that slipped from the young boy's eyes. My God, what have we done to our children? Thought the ANBU commander sadly. He then saw Naruto performing a few hand seals, and he put a hand on Rei's forehead. What are you doing? Asked the commander quickly. Naruto looked at the man tiredly, he had to do this for her. I am sealing of her memories, she won't remember any of this, said Naruto gently. But that means, she won't even remember you, said the commander sharply. It's for the best, commander. She should not remember such horrible things that occurred tonight, she's just a small child, if I make it back alive, I'll stay with her for the rest of my life, said Naruto slowly. But what should we tell the girl? She will ask questions about her identity, her life, her family. Asked the commander curiously. Naruto took out a small letter from his pocket, and gave it to the commander. Ask the Hokage to send her to Kurenai Yuhi, she is the only one who can look after her, and give this letter to Rei if she asks a question about her family, it will save you guys from a lot of questions, it does not say that I am her father, but it will ease her pain, said Naruto gently, as he caressed his daughter's cheeks. Hi, I'll inform Hokage-sama, here is the package you requested, said the ANBU commander seriously. He then took out 2 scrolls, and unsealed one of them. It seemed to have some items. There was a black shirt with the Uchiha crest on it, there were black ANBU pants and combat boots too. The scroll also had a black cloak, and fingerless gloves, and a set of kunai, shuriken, exploding tags and a med kit. There was a pouch which had a lot of money in it. Naruto slowly removed his now destroyed uniform, and put on the new black t-shirt and ANBU pants. He gently slipped the new fingerless gloves through his hands and put on the black combat boots. He stuffed the kunai, shuriken, exploding tags, and med kit in his various pockets and strapped his sword on his back. He put a black cloak on his body. Finally he took his forehead protector in his hands, and with the help of a kunai made a clean slash across it. He then put the slashed forehead protector on his head. "This the forbidden scroll of our village, you will be branded as a traitor who stole this scroll and killed several ANBU who got in your way. You are an S-rank missing knee now, do you understand, Captain Naruto?" asked the ANBU commander seriously. "Hi, Commander," said Naruto seriously. "We can only provide you 3 days to rest and heal your injuries, after that you will be hunted down. But the Hokage will try to limit the people he sends after you. Your main objective is clear: infiltrate the enemy army and provide intel. Failure is not an option. If you are caught, we will deny any knowledge of your actions. Until your mission is over, the village will not help you under any circumstances. Are we clear?" asked the ANBU commander clearly. "Loud and clear," said Naruto firmly. The ANBU commander then nodded, and now Naruto decided to ask something. "Where is he?" asked Naruto sadly. The ANBU commander pointed towards a tree. Naruto looked back and his eyes became moist as he saw Sai in a body bag. Both the men then slowly walked towards the fallen shinobi. "What should we do with him? Do you want his name to be associated with you in this massacre?" asked the ANBU commander curiously. "No. He deserves better, leave him out of this please," requested Naruto. "Very well, he will receive the Konoha Cross for his bravery. We will give him a proper military funeral and his name will be enlisted on the memorial stone, for his sacrifice which he made for this village," said the ANBU commander in a soft tone. A few tears came in Naruto's eyes as he looked at his friend's body. He then put a hand in his pouch and took out something. It was a black face mask. "This was the first thing, which I got as a gift, and I want you to have it. I cannot thank you enough, you were a good friend to me till the end, and I will forever be indebted to you," said Naruto sadly. He then put the face mask on Sia's face, and gently put a hand on his heart. The ANBU commander watched silently, as the young boy wept for his friend for a few moments. "A few days ago, before this mission, Konohamaru asked me, why do we ninjas fight for people who we don't even know? He asked me if I thought of myself as a hero. Back then I didn't have an answer," said Naruto slowly. "And now?" asked the ANBU commander curiously. "If he asks me now, I'll say no. None of us asked to be a hero, it's just the circumstances that gives birth to heroes. Rest in peace, Sai," said Naruto in a broken voice. He then covered Sai's face with his body bag, and slowly got up and went towards Rei. Naruto took Rei in his arms, and gave her a short kiss on her cheek. "I have only caused you pain, and no matter what I say, I cannot take away your pain, but still I wish you can forgive me one day," said Naruto gently. He looked at his daughter lovingly. Now that he thought about it, he did not know what a father says to his child. The only parental figure he had was Kakashi, and let's just say he was not a good role model for a father, a big brother for sure, but not a father. "I don't know what to say as your father, I just want you to live happily, make friends, and eat lots of ramen, it's the best thing in the world," said Naruto a little happily. The ANBU commander chuckled a little on hearing the boy's advice. "He has a long way to go on becoming a good father, but his heart is pure," thought the commander calmly. "Sleep properly, and enjoy your time at the academy. Play pranks on your friends, train hard, said Naruto sadly, as more tears slipped from his eyes. The ANBU commander stepped forward and put a hand on the boy's shoulders. Naruto gave him a grateful nod. It seemed the man understood his pain as a fellow soldier. "And try not to follow my path, and no matter what people say you should be what your heart tells you to be. If I make it back alive, I promise I'll make it up to you," promised Naruto firmly. "We'll take care of her," said the ANBU commander gently. "Rei-chan, No matter what happens, I'll always love you, said Naruto lovingly, and kissed Rei for one last time. He then gently wrapped a small necklace around Rei's neck, and slowly got up. Naruto's eyes hardened and he gave one last salute to his commander. The ANBU commander saluted him back with respect. Just as Naruto turned around, he heard the commander's voice. Naruto, things are going to get worse from now, said the ANBU commander gently. It looked as if he was talking to Naruto not as a commander but as a fellow soldier. There are still enemies out there, said Naruto firmly. When the people find out what you did, they'll call for your blood, warned the ANBU commander. Naruto didn't turn around, and instead answered in a calm and gentle voice. When they find out, they'll call me a monster, a demon, a butcher and all kinds of vile crap, but I won't give them a goddamn answer, said Naruto firmly. The ANBU commander was now generally curious. He knew the mission was top secret, so Naruto was bound to keep quiet, and he knew Naruto was one of the most loyal shinobi this village ever had. But still, how would the boy bear the hatred of the entire world? Why? What reason apart from the mission do you have that you would not answer the people's accusations? Asked the ANBU commander curiously. Naruto turned around and looked straight into the commander's eyes, and the man clearly understood the message. It's because they won't understand why I did this, they won't understand it was to save the future of this village, and you know the children are our future, that's it, that's all there is to it, said Naruto sadly, and the ANBU commander felt the passion in the boy's words and the pain behind them. Hi, said the ANBU commander sadly. Naruto started walking away, and a lone tear slipped from the commander's eyes in respect for the boy and his determination. This was just the beginning of his struggle, his pain. Operation Ghost had just begun. He ran as fast as his legs could take him. His vision was hazy, and blood was continuously dripping like a river from his mouth. Every cell in his body was burning, and it was taking all of his energy not to scream. This person was none other than Naruto Uchiha, the last Root ANBU captain, one of the 3 biggest traitors of the Hidden Leaf Village, and an S-rank criminal. For the past 3 days Ichi had run without stopping for even a second. The damage he had suffered during the mission was catastrophic. His comrade and best friend Saisatu was killed in action, and Naruto's own body looked to be damaged beyond repair. He had overused his Mangekyo Sharingan so much that his vision was just a blur most of the time. It was fair to say, Operation Ghost had a very bad start. Danzo and Root were neutralized, but Naruto knew if he continued further, his chances of dying were very high. The fact that, after tonight he would be the primary target of the hunters of Konoha, and the entire shinobi world would be after his head. He could certainly take on many shinobi, but if an S-class shinobi showed up, in his current condition he would lose. One thing was clear, he would have to watch his back for the rest of his remaining life. That was his destiny. Where are we going? Asked Kurama curiously. Cough, cough, there is only one place right now, where we can rest safely, and there is only one person who I trust completely right now, and she can probably save me, said Naruto tiredly as more blood dropped from his mouth. Your body is damaged at a cellular level. Since Danzo has been killed, the seal has been destroyed, but the damage has already been done. It looks as if this virus is destroying your cells. If your mother was not an Uzumaki, you would be dead in a few days, explained Kurama briefly. Ha, I know, said Naruto tiredly, his breathing becoming harder. This person, who is she? Asked Kurama simply. Have you already forgotten her? Asked Naruto stoically. Kurama frowned. It was not his habit of remembering pitiful human beings, but more than that he was quite frustrated with Naruto too. The boy had become so quiet that he barely talked with the tailed beast. Naruto only talked when Kurama asked him a question, and whenever Kurama asked anything related to Sai, Naruto would become so quiet that Kurama could feel the despair the boy felt. Kurama's respect for Naruto had increased since that night. The things the boy had done, the things he had seen, losing a close friend, and still Naruto was going on. But Kurama wondered how much longer could Naruto survive like this. His humanity was at risk of being destroyed. I don't know who this person is, said Kurama flatly. She is the world's best scientist after Orochimaru, and one of the best medics and infiltrator I have ever known, said Naruto seriously. Kurama now realized who this person was. How could he forget that woman? Nono Yakushi, was it? Asked Kurama quickly. Yes, the ex-medic chief of the Root ANBU Black Ops. She was the one who taught me infiltration and medical ninjutsu, and is the only Root ANBU left in the world apart from me, explained Naruto flatly. For once Kurama felt relieved. If there was anyone who understood Naruto, then it was this woman. Not only did she train him to be one of the best infiltration experts, but she kept giving Naruto mental support. If not for her, he would have lost his soul years back. Kurama still remembered those horrible boot camp days of Root. The things they put young children through was unbearable. And Naruto had watched many of his comrades die one after the other in the training. Root training was the most brutal training in the world. A shinobi would either pass the training camp, or would die in the process. If you get injured, your injuries won't be healed, you have to survive for days and accomplish your objective. Starving for days, traveling through the most dangerous terrains. The casualty rate of this training was catastrophic. It was as high as 90%, which meant that out of 100 recruits, only 10 would pass boot camp while the rest would die. The main objective behind this was to get the best shinobi, and get rid of the weaklings. A harsh truth, but this was the reality of the shinobi world. While the rest of the world lived in light, Naruto lived in darkness. He was the last of an elite group of soldiers, and his struggle was just beginning. Looking at the long forest of trees ahead made Kurama sigh. They still had to travel for 2 more hours. Konoha. It was midnight in Konoha, and the village was having a peaceful night, but everything was going to change tomorrow morning when the news would become public. Hiruzen Sarutobi sat in his office, and he was holding a small book which had a new picture added in it. There was an entire page which had information about the boy, No Man, who was now the 3rd biggest trader of Konoha. Name, Naruto Hatake. Age, 14 to 15. Gender, male. Origin, Konohagakure. Shinobi rank, Chunin. Caliber rank, S. Known clan affiliation, Uzumaki clan. Known element affinities, Futon, Katan, Suiton and Raiton. Skill list. Taijutsu, 3, Ninjutsu, 5, Genjutsu, 5, Intelligence, 4, Strength, 3, Speed, 5, Stamina, 5, Hand seals, 5, Weapons, sword made of black metal with a red guard and black sheath. Physical description, stands 5'6" and weighs 155 pounds. Golden blonde hair and blue eyes, tanned skin, and is known to wear traditional leaf shinobi attire. Special abilities, a skilled sensor. Known family, Hatake Kakashi, adoptive brother. Crime, slaughtered more than 300 ANBU Black Ops, stole the Forbidden Scroll and caused great destruction of property. Bounty, 50 million Ryo, dead or alive stationed by Konoha. Is this information appropriate, Hokage-sama? Asked the ANBU commander who was standing beside Hiruzen. Ever since that night, the ANBU commander had worked continuously in order to hide this incident, and give Naruto the required time to escape to his hideout. Yes, we cannot disclose his identity as an Uchiha, but with this much information he would at least be considered a formidable threat which is required for his undercover operation, said Hiruzen seriously. The ANBU commander decided to ask a question which had been bugging him since the past 3 days. Hokage-sama, can I ask you something? Requested the ANBU commander. Speak freely, commander, said Hiruzen flatly. With all due respect, I don't know if you have made the right choice by sending the young boy on such a suicidal mission, said the ANBU commander truthfully. Hiruzen's head dropped in shame, but he knew this had to be done. You think I like this? Not a single second passes when I'm not thinking about Naruto. I watched the boy grow up and took care of him as best as I could. Do you think being a Hokage is a good job, where you only do paperwork, give speeches to young academy kids, and assign missions? Asked Hiruzen harshly. I didn't mean it like dash, said the ANBU commander quickly, but was stopped when Hiruzen raised his hand. This position is bloody, it is corrupt, believe me, if someone more capable than me was available I would hand him this position, but the fact is there is no one. You have to send young kids to their deaths, this is not a fairy tale, this is the shinobi world where the strong survive and the weak perish. The fact that Konoha is facing another war is a more serious matter, explained Hiruzen sternly. The ANBU commander just sighed, every word his leader had said was the truth. What intel have we got from Jiraiya-sama's spy network? Asked the ANBU commander quickly, as he didn't want to anger the Hokage more. Hiruzen took a deep breath, he had to calm down. The enemy had started playing their cards and he had to think about his strategy too. Suna is acting very suspicious, the Kazekage assures me that they have no problem with Konoha and want peace, but I'm not a senile old man, I know what Sun is up to. The Wind Daimyo has already cut their funding in favor of handing us more missions, so we are soon going to have a war with them. We still don't have any word on Orochimaru and his activities, even after all these years. That brat is sneaky as ever, said Hiruzen bitterly. What about IWA and Kumo? Asked the ANBU commander. I have an operative who has been keeping an eye on IWA since the past few years. Anoki is a madman who still hates us for his shameful defeat in the Third Great Ninja War, but even he knows the world is not ready for another Great Ninja War, so he has not taken any official action. But if Jiraiya's reports are true, then he has been secretly funding many criminal organizations, who have hundreds of missing ninjas under their noses. Kumo is still the wild card here, either they are staying neutral or are planning something big. You know where this is heading, said Hiruzen suggestively. Understood, my soldiers have got some disturbing news too, said the ANBU commander seriously. What is it? Asked Hiruzen quickly. There have been rumors about Sky Country Ninja, my operatives have been getting sketchy reports that some of them have survived, it seems we have failed to destroy them totally in the previous war, explained the commander. Shit, just keeps getting worse, said Hiruzen angrily. Sky Country was a small village who waged war against all 5 great nations, but were ultimately defeated by Konoha in the Third Great Ninja War, with the help of Minato Namikaze. The Sky Shinobi, specialized in aerial combat and advanced weapons, if not for Minato and his Hiroshin, Konoha would have been pushed to the edge of defeat. Even if they were rumors, if the Sky Ninja had survived, then Konoha just got added on another enemy's hit list. I want your ANBU to keep searching for those idiots, find them, hunt them and kill them. I don't want any survivors, ordered Hiruzen firmly. As you wish, said the ANBU commander seriously. Hiruzen looked at the shinobi world map in his office, and his village which was right in the middle of it. He had lived through 3 wars, all his friends were now dead except for Hamura. He knew countless shinobi had sacrificed their lives to protect their home, so many young kids had died in the shadows just so the people of Konoha and Fire Country could live peacefully. This was the price that every soldier had to pay. And Naruto was no exception either. He wasn't the first soldier who was callously being used and sacrificed for Konoha, and he won't be the last either. Yamato, do you know my father, my brother, my elder son, all of them died for this village. None of the people of this village remembers their names, but still they died in order to give this village a better future. You think Naruto is the only one suffering in this world? Asked Hiruzen sadly. No. Each one of us have suffered pain, said the now named Yamato, aka the ANBU commander, as he remembered how his life had turned out. My younger son Asuma does not understand me, my daughter-in-law is living as a widow, my grandson is growing up without a father, right now Konoha is facing a great danger, our enemies are uniting, even Jiraiya cannot get all the information we want, he cannot reach everywhere at the same time, he is just one man, explained Hiruzen briefly. That is why you needed someone on the inside, didn't you, Sandem-sama? Asked Yamato sharply. Yes, I need to know every single thing about our enemies, I want their plans, their strength, their weapons, I need every goddamn information there is to know, I won't endanger Konoha at any costs, even if I will be known as a cruel leader who sent a young boy to his death. I have done that in the past, I am doing it now, and if situation calls for it, I will do this again in the future, said Hiruzen harshly. Yamato nodded. The Hokage was right, thousands of innocent lives were at stake here. Hiruzen knew this, Yamato knew, Sato knew it, and Naruto knew it too. And despite all of this, they were doing what was the right thing, regardless of their personal feelings, they were doing their duty. They were soldiers, but still, do you think Naruto can do this all alone? He lost his friend and comrade, and Hokage-sama, it has shaken him up. He is already suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, that is why I strongly recommend giving him backup, said Yamato firmly. Hiruzen thought about the idea, even though he knew what Naruto had gone through, and he felt sorry for the poor boy. Yamato was right. Sai was not only Naruto's friend, but also a skilled spy and tactical fighter. He was the one who had kept Naruto sane till now, and with him dying while saving Naruto would have severely broken Naruto's morale. Naruto needed someone, a shinobi who was not only strong but one who could endure as much pain as Naruto had endured, and help keep him sane through the mission. Hiruzen made a decision, he had to send help in order to protect his surrogate grandson. Yamato, send our fastest messenger hawk to our secret hideout within Iwagakure, said Hiruzen quickly, and started writing instructions on a scroll. Yamato's eyes widened when he heard what the Hokage had said. There was only one operative there. Was the Hokage really serious about this? Hokage-sama, are you sure about this? Asked a shocked Yamato. Yes, we are sending Operative Black Wolf to provide assistance in Operation Ghost. In a small room in a brothel sat a man. On both of his sides were two girls who were completely naked. He was none other than Jiraiya, the legendary Sannin, and the most powerful shinobi of the ninja world. Man, these girls were wild, thought Jiraiya perversely. His thoughts then drifted back to Konoha. It had been more than a decade since he had left the village. For these past few years, he had been constantly keeping an eye on Konoha's enemies, and he knew there were dark times ahead. There was a very suspicious organization on the rise, and he had not found any information related to Orochimaru. It was as if the snake Sannin had vanished from the face of the earth, but Jiraiya knew his friend better. What are you up to, Orochi theme? Thought Jiraiya with a frown, but most of all he was worried about his godson, Naruto. He had been in constant touch with Hiruzen, and he was sad and happy at the same time. He was sad that his godson had a troubled childhood, and many people hated him, but he was happy that Kakashi had taken care of the boy and had trained him well. He felt extremely proud when Naruto awakened the Sharingan. He so badly wished to see the boy when he was made Chunin. But his duties always got in the way. He had to run the spy network. Suddenly there was a small puff of smoke in the room and there was a small monkey now standing on Jiraiya's chest. There was a small scroll strapped on the monkey's legs. Jiraiya understood it was his sensei's summons, and he had sent him a message. Getting up from his bed, he put on his clothes and then slowly unsealed the scroll. He then started reading it, and his eyes widened in shock and fear when he saw Naruto's picture in the bingo book, and his surrogate godson was now an S-rank missing NIN. He quickly jumped from the window of his room, and performed a set of hand seals quickly. Kuchi-Os no Jutsu, Summoning Jutsu. A large toad appeared in the alley. It had battle armor on its chest, and a sword in its hand. Jiraiya, what do you need me for? Asked the toad curiously. We are going back home. In a small bar, sat a woman. She was wearing a green haori with gambler written on its back. Her tight gray pants showed her well-toned legs and her firm ass. She had her silky blonde hair tied in a long ponytail that reached up to her ass. Beside her was a beautiful woman. She had short brunette hair and a small cute face. She was holding a small pig in her arms and had a worried expression on her face. They were none other than Tsunade Senju and Shizen Kato. Tsunade's life had been one sad story. She was born into the great Senju clan and was the granddaughter of Hashirama Senju and Mito Uzumaki. She grew up to become one of the strongest shinobi of Konoha, but still she could not save the ones she loved most. Her parents died in the First Great Ninja War, shortly after her grandfather. Her younger brother Nawaki and her lover Dan were killed simultaneously in the successive world wars. She could never forget the pain when she saw the two people she loved the most die. It still haunted her. Her grandmother died too, but then Kushina and Minato came into her life. Kushina was her cousin, and her cheerful attitude had helped to ease Tsunade's pain. But Kami again had to ruin her life. The Kyuubi attack happened and Kushina and Minato died protecting the village, like every important person in her life had died. But as some people say, where there was darkness there was light too. She came to know that her cousin had a son born that night, and she had been asked by the Hokage to look after the child. At first she was nervous, she didn't know what a mother was supposed to do, but she knew she had to take care of Kushina's son. Quite frankly, the boy had become the joy of her life. He again brought the happiness in her life. She wanted to stay with him and provide the love of a mother. But she could never stay in Konoha, that place only brought her more painful memories. She wanted to take Naruto with her and raise him, but she was denied permission. Naruto was declared as the village's asset as he was a Jinchuriki, and was forbidden to leave the village. She and her student Shizune had fought tooth and nail to take Naruto with them. But they failed, and she was given a choice to either stay with Naruto or leave the village and do whatever she liked, but she could not take Naruto with her. And she made a decision. A choice, which she regretted now. She chose to abandon her nephew as she couldn't overcome her pain of staying in Konoha. She felt ashamed now. After a few years, she realized her mistake, but it was already too late. Naruto had been adopted by Kakashi Hatake, and was living a normal life again. She knew she would only cause him more pain if he found out that she abandoned him, and so despite the pain in her heart, she chose to let go of Naruto, and let him live in peace. Even after all these years, not a single day passed when she and Shizune never thought about the little blonde boy. They had not kept any ties with the village, but Hiruzen had assured her that Naruto was happy and was living a good life. That was the only thing keeping her going. She really wanted to meet the boy, she loved him very much. There was suddenly a puff of smoke and a small monkey stood in front of her and Shizune. It had a small scroll strapped on its feet, and Tsunade realized it was her sensei's summons. Shizune took the scroll and handed it over to Tsunade. Tsunade unsealed the scroll, and both the women blushed a little when they saw a picture of a handsome blonde boy in a book. That senile old pervert, thought Tsunade irritatingly, was her sensei joking with her? But Shizune's eyes widened when she saw what the title of that book was. Tsunade-sama, it's the bingo book, said Shizune in surprise. Tsunade got curious, and then she looked closely at the picture of the handsome man, and her eyes widened in shock, as she read what was written on it. That face. Those blue eyes. She could never forget who this person was, and her eyes started burning with feminine fury as she finished reading the scroll. Her hands glowed with chakra, and she smashed the table in front of her to a million pieces. All the people around her collapsed on the ground as she leaked all her ki. Even Shizune was finding it difficult to breathe, despite being a shinobi and her student. Tsunade-sama, what happened? Asked Shizune with heavy breaths. Tsunade's ki was making it very hard to breathe. Hiruzen Sarutobi, I'm gonna kill you. Naruto stared at the house in front of him, or rather the people in it. There were a few children in the house, who were playing with each other, and were enjoying their innocent childhood. It was morning, and the sun had risen up in the sky, and its shiny rays were falling on Naruto's battered and tired body. He had reached his destination, but he was tired, and he knew any time he was going to collapse from exhaustion. He remembered that today was the day when Hiruzen was going to declare him a traitor and a S-rank missing nin. A tired sigh escaped from Naruto's lips, but his lonely eyes were still set on the children in the house. He idly wondered if he could have had such a childhood, if his parents were alive. That certainly appeared to be a good life, than the one he was currently living. Hearing the laughter of the children brought painful memories of the past, and he saw reflections of some of his childhood friends, who were no longer with him. Why was he the only one? Why did he survive when so many of his friends died in the training of Root Camp? Their screams still rang in his mind, and every day he lived with these horrible memories. For the people around him, he never showed how he truly felt, not even Kurenai knew about the loneliness in his heart. If he had just died during training, then all of this would not have happened, and perhaps he would not have to live in such a hell. But he survived, he lived every damn time, when the people around him fell, and this was the price he was paying for surviving in this cruel shinobi world. "You are still the same lonely kid, Naruto-chan," said a soft feminine voice. A small tiny smile came on Naruto's lips. He had finally found her, the only person who completely understood him, all his sadness, his misery, his guilt, and the pain in his heart. Turning around, he saw a woman standing behind him. She had a very cute angular face, shoulder-length black hair, and coif light-colored eyes that showed the kindness in her heart. She was wearing a black, loose-fitting gown with a white apron over it with sandals. The woman looked to be in her mid-30s, but Naruto could still feel the power that was radiating from her body. She definitely was a strong ninja. Looking at her brought a few tears in his eyes. It had been such a long time since he had seen her. "Nono-sensei," said Naruto happily. But suddenly his legs felt wobbly and he started falling towards the ground, but felt a pair of soft hands embrace him gently. "Sensei," said Naruto tiredly. He wanted to talk to her, but his eyes were closing and he knew he was going to fall unconscious. The last thing he heard before sleep overtook him brought a small smile on his face. "You're finally home, my Naruto-chan." Few hours later. Naruto slowly opened his eyes. Everything was looking very blurry and there was a constant pain in his eyes. He slowly rubbed his eyes for a few moments, and again opened them. This time his vision cleared a little. It was not much, but something was better than nothing. He looked around and saw he was in a small room. His shinobi gear was lying neatly on a small table in front of him. His sword was cleaned of all the blood, and his clothes were drying up on the balcony. The room was small, but the bed was so soft and warm. He looked at his body, and realized he was heavily bandaged and the majority of his wounds were healed, and he was lying on the bed in his boxers. Suddenly he started coughing violently, and a few drops of blood came out of his mouth. He heard hurried footsteps approaching his position, and before he realized it, Nono was in front of him and had laid him on the bed again. Her hands were glowing with green chakra and were focused on his chest, but Naruto never missed the worried look in her eyes. The look which a mother gives to her child. He tried to say something but she cut him off. "Stay still and let me heal you first," said Nono firmly. Naruto just nodded and looked up at the ceiling of the room while Nono healed him with her medical ninjutsu. His eyes closed for a second, but flashes of the horrible night came in his mind and his eyes opened immediately. Nono was looking at him with a sad look on her face. She knew what he was going through. She had seen many war veterans, and the horrors which they had seen had broken them, and right now Naruto was such a broken person. Nono put a hand on his face and caressed his cheeks affectionately. She had once been a part of Root ANBU Black Ops. She had spent her youth protecting Konoha by doing various Black Ops missions, but she had started to get tired. Nono was really against Danzo's methods of training young children in such horrible ways. But her protests were always cast aside. In the name of Konoha's future needs sacrifices, she hated that bullshit agenda of Danzo. Then Naruto came into her life. The boy was unique, he was powerful, but he showed her something which she had forgotten due to her service in Root. She was tasked with training him in infiltration and medical ninjutsu by Danzo. Naruto was a bright student, but most of all he showed her that she was still human. Nono grew closer to the boy with each passing day. He was such a lively kid back then, always having a smile on his face, helping his friends, and never giving up no matter what the odds were. She watched him grow from a lovely child to a cold-blooded assassin. She knew a part of Naruto's soul was destroyed when his friend Shin died, whom he loved as a brother. But despite all of this, he never forgot her. And as soon as he became a Root ANBU captain, he immediately threatened Danzo to discharge her from service. He knew she was tired of Root, and wanted to live a peaceful life and take care of some orphan children. He fought tooth and nail for her, and ultimately Danzo had to agree to Naruto's demands, as the boy was more beneficial to his cause more than Nono, and thought of it as an opportunity of making the boy more loyal to him. But none of that mattered to Nono. The fact that Naruto rescued her from that hell, and helped her set up her orphanage was more than what she ever expected from him. He kept her hidden from Danzo all these years, as both of them knew that Danzo never allowed loose ends. From time to time, he provided her financial aid in running her small orphanage. She had told him she could manage, but he always said that he wanted to help and maybe this way he could atone for his sins. Nono really felt sorry. She didn't know what hell Naruto must have gone through after she had left. Many of the boy's friends died in training, and she had seen the despair the boy felt, but she still had some hope left as Naruto had one close friend. What was his name? Sai. Yes, that was his name, thought Nono. But looking at the now completely broken Naruto, made her realize something terrible must have happened, or else Naruto must not be in such a bad condition, both physically and mentally. The young blonde boy took a few deep breaths and calmed himself down. She was still amazed by the endurance capacity of Naruto. "It's good to see you, Nono-sensei," said Naruto with a small smile. Nono looked at him briefly. His smile was true, but the grief in his eyes never went unnoticed by her veteran eyes. "It's good to see you too, Naruto-chan, but why are you in such bad shape?" asked Nono worriedly. She wanted to ask him this question from the beginning. She was horrified by the condition his body was in. There were wounds all over his body, but most of all he had severe internal wounds. She had checked him, and found out that some type of poison or virus was spreading through his body and had almost destroyed 30% of his cells, and was still causing damage at an alarming rate. At this speed, the virus would kill Naruto in a few months. If he was not an Uzumaki, he would have been dead by now. His Sharingan eyes were badly damaged and had lost a lot of his eyesight. Had he overused his Mangekyo? She knew he had awakened Mangekyo after his death match with Shin. Naruto never hid anything from her, and she really wished to help him. "I can't tell you that, it's classified," said Naruto sadly, and averted his eyes from her. Another Black Ops mission. Why can't they let him live in peace, thought Nono angrily. "I understand, and I won't ask you what your mission is. I know how these things work, and it's better if I don't know. But remember this, I'm always here for you," said Nono kindly. Naruto gave a grateful smile to the woman. She really knew him better than anyone. "Thank you, sensei," said Naruto with a smile. A silence followed between the pair, as both of them just looked at each other. It had been a long time since they had seen each other. "How have you been?" asked Naruto softly. "Better, the orphanage is running very well, thanks to you. The kids really make my life more happy," said Nono with a small smile. A small smile came on Naruto's face. He was glad that he was at least able to help the woman who was the closest thing he had as a mother. "I'm glad you are doing well. The kids really can be a handful sometimes," said Naruto with a chuckle. "You don't say," said Nono with a smile, as she remembered some of Naruto's pranks. "Are things well en route?" "How is Sai?" asked Nono curiously. But one look in his eyes made her realize that she shouldn't have asked this. The dead look in his eyes, and the sadness in them showed her things were not well, and something must have happened to Sai. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked this," said Nono apologetically. "It's not your fault, sensei, I need your help," said Naruto hesitantly. Nono looked at the boy closely. He was definitely hiding something big, but she wanted to help him no matter what. "I'm doing something dangerous, and I'm in deep shit. My body and my eyes have been badly damaged. Can you do something to help me?" "I understand if you don't dash," said Naruto, but was stopped when Nono looked at him sternly. "I don't care how much trouble you are in, you are a son which I never had, you stood beside me when I needed you the most. And I will do whatever it takes to help you," said Nono seriously, and Naruto gave her a thankful nod. "How bad is it?" asked Naruto after a few moments. "It's very bad. I have started searching for a cure, but it will take time," said Nono truthfully. "And my eyes?" asked Naruto curiously. "They have been badly damaged too. Your vision has been affected badly. And why the hell do you have a Mangekyo Sharingan in a jar?" asked Nono seriously. Naruto looked at her like a child who was caught stealing candy. "Well, I kinda borrowed it," said Naruto sheepishly. "Excuse me?" asked Nono with narrowed eyes. "I have overused my Mangekyo Sharingan. And so I looked into the Uchiha's clan's records for a cure, and it said if a Mangekyo is overused the user would go blind," said Naruto truthfully. "What?" asked Nono in shock, but before she could go further in shock, and start scolding him, Naruto put a hand on her shoulder and told her to calm down. "But if I implant another Mangekyo Sharingan in my eyes, then I would gain the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, EMS, which would never allow me to go blind. Please believe in me," requested Naruto politely. "Moron, why do you always get yourself in trouble?" asked Nono tiredly. "I don't know," said Naruto honestly. "Sigh, I will study the Mangekyo you brought and see what I can do," said Nono seriously. Naruto felt a little happy. Maybe this was what a mother truly was. "Thank you, Ka-chan," said Naruto subconsciously. He didn't realize what he just said, the words just came out of his mouth. He looked up and saw Nono having a small smile on her face. "I'm sorry, I didn't dash," said Naruto hurriedly, but was stopped when Nono put a hand on his mouth. "It's alright, you are my child too," said Nono lovingly. A small tear came in Naruto's eyes and he wrapped his arms around Nono and hugged her tightly. He needed her. When he was with her he could forget about the terrifying memories. Even Kurama was grateful that this woman was there to support Naruto in this desperate time, as he saw her hugging him tightly and whispering comforting words in his ears. Naruto's true feelings started to surface, as the pain became unbearable and he cried more in the woman's arms. Nono didn't know what had happened that had broken her son in such a manner. She knew no matter what happened Naruto never broke down. She would find out the truth. "I swear I'll protect you, no matter what," thought Nono with determination. She felt Naruto's sobs decrease, and gently laid him on the bed. He was soon going to fall asleep. "Your wounds have not healed, you should rest. Sleep peacefully for a few hours," said Nono warmly. She then gave a short kiss on his forehead, and got up to leave. But she was stopped as Naruto gently grabbed her hand. She turned around and saw him giving her a pleading look. "Can you?" said Naruto hesitantly. "What is it, Naru-chan?" asked Nono gently, but she had a feeling what he was gonna ask. "Can you stay with me? I can't sleep," said Naruto sadly. Nono gave him a motherly smile, and got in the bed. She gently laid beside him, and put his head on her shoulders. Naruto wrapped his arms around her waist tightly. He was holding on to her like she was his lifeline. Maybe the nightmares won't come if she was with him? His eyes started closing and he gently pressed his head closer to her shoulder. "Thank you," said Naruto slowly, and then he fell asleep. But he did not notice the tears flowing from Nono's eyes. She looked at Naruto and her heart broke when she saw him in such a state. He looked so weak, so vulnerable. What had those bastards done to him? "I love you too, Naru-chan," said a tearful Nono, and kissed Naruto's head. Both of them then fell asleep, not knowing what the future had in store for them. Unknown location. In a small dark room, sat a person in a calm meditative pose. He was wearing ANBU uniform, and his face was covered by a black wolf mask. There was a fine sword strapped on his back. He was wearing arm guards and there were fine black combat boots on his feet. He had a well-toned body, with the proper muscles that showed he was a ninja. His black hair was clearly tied in a small ponytail. There was a puff of smoke in the room, and a small hawk with golden eyes appeared in front of the ANBU. It had a small scroll strapped on its back. The ANBU slowly took the scroll from the bird's back, and performed a few hand seals with great speed and swiped his blood across the scroll. The scroll opened and ANBU then started reading the message which was sent from his leader. His eyes widened a little when he read the details of his mission and the task he was assigned by the Hokage. The black wolf masked ANBU then slowly burned the scroll away as he completed reading the order, and slowly got up to reach his destination. Captain Naruto, I look forward to meeting you. Naruto sat on a small warm bed. Another tired sigh escaped from his lips as he stared at the small light on top of the ceiling. Nono was standing beside him, and for the past 4 hours she had performed various diagnoses and tests in order to get additional information about his disease, and to find a way to restore his eyesight to full capacity. He had to hand it to the woman. She really knew her job, and looking over the large number of notes lying around, a little hope lingered in Naruto's heart. Maybe she could get him back to full strength? She had also studied Danzo's Mangekyo Sharingan, and was currently observing Naruto's cerulean blue eyes. So, what's the situation? Asked Naruto curiously. Nono gave a tired sigh. Working continuously for such long hours was indeed very tiring. She wiped some sweat from her forehead, and went to pick up a sheet of paper on which she had written her report on Naruto's condition. She was happy with some results, but more than that she was worried. There were some big complications too. Looking at the hopeful look in the young boy's eyes broke her heart, but she resolved herself. She would do whatever it takes to help him, and would not give up. What do you want to hear first, the good news or the bad news? Asked Nono flatly. Naruto thought about her question for a moment. What should he hear first? Moron, go for the good news, said Kurama irritatingly. Naruto felt a little bad for his partner. He was not talking much with him, and Naruto knew it was his fault. Kurama had asked him several times whether he was okay or not. But Naruto didn't know what to say. What could he say anyway? That he was fine? It was far from it. He had still not forgotten about Sai. His friend was dead all because of him. He still remembered the moment when he watched one of his closest friends die again, and the operation was affected due to this. Sai was supposed to help him in spying. They had been assigned different sectors and targets. Their job was to gather information and send it to the Hokage as soon as possible, or eliminate the threat on the spot if given the order. But that task was now not possible, and Naruto knew that. He could use his shadow clones for spying, but in his current condition he didn't want to exert more damage on his already destroyed body. One thing was clear, he definitely needed reinforcement, or else the success of the mission would just be an illusion. Nono's voice snapped him back to reality and he looked at her calmly. Now, if you've stopped daydreaming, I have some good news for you, said Nono with a short smile. I really hope you have something good for me, said Naruto honestly. I examined the Mangekyo Sharingan which you brought, and it is really unique. And it seems it has the first Hokage's cells implanted in it, said Nono in surprise. I know that, said Naruto distastefully, as he remembered Danzo and his abomination. Naruto, I won't lie. This eye is one of the best inventions I have ever seen, said Nono seriously. How so? Asked Naruto curiously. A few years ago, you had sent me some data of your Mangekyo Sharingan. You had just awakened it, and wanted to know everything you could. You remember that, don't you? Asked Nono quickly. Where are you getting at? Asked Naruto in confusion. And now when I examined your Mangekyo, I have found some shocking scientific results about the Mangekyo Sharingan, said Nono firmly. What's the problem with my eyes? Asked Naruto seriously. Before I tell you that, you need to learn some things about the human eye. The concept which I'm going to explain applies to every person, said Nono simply. Naruto nodded, and Nono then took out a small picture of the human eye. Now the unique thing was it had almost each and every part of the eye mentioned in it. The human eye allows a person to visualize his surroundings, but how does it happen? Asked Nono inquisitively. Naruto frowned in confusion. Science was never his cup of tea, and Nono chuckled a little on seeing her surrogate son's cluelessness. If you had paid attention in my class on human anatomy, then you wouldn't be so confused right now, scolded Nono playfully. Yes, mother, said Naruto with a pout on his face. Unknown to Naruto, Nono was trying to analyze his psychological condition too. She knew Naruto was an ANBU captain, and as such he could control his emotions better than most of the shinobi, but the condition in which she had found him showed her he must have been through hell. She was a standard medic, and as such it was her job to ease his pain, and help him stay sane. But she promised to herself that she was going to force him to retire from ANBU Black Ops after this mission. She didn't want him to suffer anymore. This would be his last mission. The cornea is the transparent front part of the eye that covers the iris, pupil, and anterior chamber. The cornea, with the anterior chamber and lens, refracts light, with the cornea accounting for approximately 2/3 of the eye's total optical power. The cornea contributes most of the eye's focusing power, explained Nono briefly. To make her point more clear, she showed Naruto the different eye parts with the help of the picture. Naruto was listening to her explanation very attentively, and something had started to make sense in his mind. I guess the Mangekyo Sharingan affects the cornea very badly, said Naruto suggestively. Nono got a proud smile on her face, and patted Naruto's head gently. You are not as dumb as you look, said Nono mischievously. Thanks, hey, said Naruto loudly. Nono bonked him on the head, and got a smirk on her face. Maybe her small jokes and therapy would help him maintain his sanity long enough to complete his mission. Don't shout, or I'll not explain anything, said Nono with a smirk. Fine, said Naruto grumpily, but a small part of his heart felt a little happy. He wouldn't say it, but he was glad that she was around. The Mangekyo Sharingan severely destroys the tissues around the cornea. The more you use your Mangekyo, the more these tissues gets destroyed, which ultimately leads to blindness as the cornea gets totally destroyed, explained Nono briefly. How can I save my Mangekyo? Should I just implant the Mangekyo Sharingan I have directly? The Uchiha tablet said it would restore my eyesight back to full capacity, suggested Naruto. It is not that simple. Eye transplants are not always successful. It may cause more harm than benefit if something goes wrong. Also, in the case of the Mangekyo Sharingan, it is important to have the eye of a close sibling or parents, as their genetic structure is similar to your own, which would greatly increase the chances of success, explained Nono seriously. So, there is very little chance of restoring my vision, since this eye is not of any of my relative, asked Naruto sadly. No. There is a way, and this eye which you have brought is a clear example of it, said Nono happily. What do you mean? Asked Naruto curiously. The owner of this eye knew the side effects of a Mangekyo Sharingan, and most probably didn't have any siblings to swap his eyes with, in order to stop his blindness, so he found a new way, said Nono intriguingly. What way? Asked Naruto in confusion. In order to stop the destruction of the cornea, the person implanted the first Hokage's cells in his eye, said Nono shockingly. What? Said Naruto in shock. Did Danzo really think about all of this? Idiot, you do remember that old freak and Orochimaru had worked together, said Kurama seriously. Sorry, I forgot about that, said Naruto embarrassingly. Said Kurama with a snort. How do Hashirama Senju's cells help to stop blindness? Asked Naruto curiously. Hashirama Senju was the world's greatest medic ever. He could heal any wounds. If he was alive right now, he could have healed you easily. The Senju clan possessed great physical power and strength, and Hashirama was the strongest Senju. His cells had amazing strength which allowed him to heal his wounds no matter how serious in an instant. The Mangekyo Sharingan you have has these cells implanted in them, and due to their power they have completely stopped the destruction of the tissues around the cornea, and even if some of them get destroyed by any chance, these cells can regenerate these tissues and won't allow the user to go blind, explained Nono happily. Amazing, said Naruto in shock. This was truly the work of a genius, and there was only one man in the world who could achieve such a feat, Orochimaru. Said Nono sharply. Hi, I have found some evidence that he was involved with the user of this Mangekyo Sharingan, but for your own safety I cannot reveal anything further. I cannot lose you, said Naruto worriedly. Nono was touched by the strong feelings the boy had for her. I understand, I was an ANBU Black Op too, you can trust me. I can create and clone cornea with the help of the cornea of this Manjikyu Sharingan for both of your eyes, or you can try to find the other eye. I can create an artificial cornea, but it will take time, and lots of money and resources, which we don't have, said Nono sadly. She felt helpless right now. Naruto got a small smile on his face. Can you bring the scroll which is on the desk, requested Naruto kindly. Nono nodded, but she was curious as to what was in that scroll. She handed the scroll to Naruto, and he swiped his blood across it. The scroll opened and Nono's eyes widened in shock, as she saw the stacks of Ryo in it. These are 100,000 Ryo, it'll help you get started. If you need more, just ask, said Naruto calmly. How do you have so much money? Even if you have saved your mission earnings, these must count to 40% of your money, said Nono in shock. This is not my money, rather these are the funds which I'm receiving from my mission. Don't worry, I am properly funded, assured Naruto gently. Naruto, this much amount of money are only assigned to operatives who are assigned SS rank mission, which in other words are suicidal mission, said Nono in fear. Yes, that is true, said Naruto hesitantly. He was quite surprised when Nono gave him a hard slap on his face, and grabbed him roughly by his shoulder. Are you out of your fucking mind? Yelled Nono angrily. Naruto for his part just looked at the woman calmly. He was expecting this kind of reaction from her. It is of great importance, Ka-san, there is no going back now, said Naruto gently. But you said Nono in protest. Nothing is going to happen to me, assured Naruto warmly. Nono looked him straight in the eye. He was not going to back down, this mission seemed more personal to him. Please promise me one thing, said Nono worriedly. Anything, said Naruto honestly. You will leave the ANBU Black Ops after this mission, and you will survive no matter what, or I'll drag you back from hell and kill you myself, said Nono dangerously. I promise, said Naruto truthfully. Even though he wanted to leave ANBU after this mission, he wanted to look after his family. I will start the preparations for the operation, but it will be at least 4 months before I can create an artificial cornea for your other eye. If you can somehow gain the other Mangekyo Sharingan, then I can perform the operation in 2 months, and your vision would be restored forever, explained Nono briefly. Understood, I'll try to hold out till then, said Naruto firmly. Nono bit her lip. Now came the hard part and she didn't know how it would affect Naruto. Naruto sensed her hesitation and put a hand on her shoulder and squeezed it gently. What's the bad news? Asked Naruto calmly. He was prepared for the worst. This mission was more important than his life, the survival of his village depended on it. Sai had died for this cause, and he would make sure his sacrifice was not in vain. Nono looked him straight in the eye, and told him a few words that were shocking. You are dying. A figure ran through the rooftops of Konoha at high speed. Civilians couldn't even see this person, while to ninja it seemed like a blur. Kurenai ran on top of the roofs with only one target in mind. In one of her hands was a bingo book, one which now depicted her lover as an S-rank criminal. She couldn't understand what was going on, her heart was beating so fast, sweat was continuously dripping from her forehead. Kami, what the hell is going on? Thought Kurenai worriedly. She was shocked beyond words when she woke up this morning, and read the new bingo book and found Naruto's picture in it, and more than that he was an S-rank criminal, who had slaughtered 300 ANBU, and stole the forbidden scroll. Kurenai firmly believed that all of this was wrong, and Naruto was being framed for something he didn't do. But somewhere in her heart, she had a bad feeling about this. She couldn't fully understand Naruto after that incident. Flashback, few days ago. Kurenai was laying on her bed, her head was closely pressed on Naruto's bare chest, and her arms were holding him firmly. Last night had been amazing, she never felt so much loved, so much wanted before, and the sex she had was like a dream come true for her. However, she did feel something strange in her mind. I'm just overthinking, thought Kurenai nonchalantly. Naruto, last night was, said Kurenai, but was cut off as Naruto kissed her gently. She kissed him back passionately, and started exploring parts of his mouth smoothly with her tongue. Naruto soon allowed her more free rein and both of them had a make-out session for the next few minutes. After a while, Naruto broke the kiss, and looked at her lovingly. "It was the best night of my life, thank you for everything," said Naruto warmly. "You don't know how much I love you, Naruto," said Kurenai lovingly and kissed him on the chest. She felt Naruto's hands tightly grip the sheets of the bed, and for once she saw a pained look in his eyes. "What's wrong?" asked Kurenai quickly. Naruto's eyes returned to their calm state, and he loosened his grip on the sheets. "It's nothing, your kiss just turned me on a lot," lied Naruto tactfully. Kurenai looked at him for a moment, and the look in his eyes was different than before. It was as if his smile was fake. "Okay," said Kurenai hesitantly. She decided to ask him what was wrong, but was stopped as they heard knocking on the door. "I'll get it, you get dressed," said Naruto calmly. Kurenai nodded, and Naruto got up and put on his pants, but just to tease her a bit he threw his shirt on her head. "Hui," said Kurenai with a pout. She heard Naruto chuckle a bit, and got up and put on his shirt. She heard a loud voice again. "Is Naruto in there?" asked a loud voice. She heard the sound of the door opening, and Naruto's calm voice. "What can I do for you gentlemen?" asked Naruto calmly. Kurenai peeked a little through the hole in her room's door. She saw 4 men standing in front of Naruto, but they had one thing in common. All of them were Hyugas. "We need to talk," said a Hyuga roughly. Kurenai recognized this man as Hyuga, but where had she seen him? Shit, he has been Hinata's bodyguard since her childhood, but what is he doing here, thought Kurenai in confusion. Then she remembered what had happened yesterday, when Hayashi was pissed at Hinata's horrible performance in the mission. "Did you report Lady Hinata as a weakling, and a failure during the briefing to Hokage-sama?" asked Ko angrily. "I only said what was the truth," said Naruto stoically. He knew what was coming. Suddenly 2 Hyugas grabbed him roughly by his collar, and slammed him against the wall. "Naruto!" Kurenai shouted when she saw him being attacked, and was about to jump to help him, when he said something. "Stay out of this," said Naruto firmly. Kurenai wanted to protest, but when she saw his eyes she was terrified. They were slit blood red instead of his blue cerulean ones. "Hi," said Kurenai sadly. "Because of your report Hinata-sama is being casted into the branch family, and has been dishonored by Hayashi-sama and the main branch," said Ko angrily. Kurenai's eyes widened in shock. When she heard what had happened to Hinata, could Hayashi really do such a thing to her own daughter? But she was more shocked by Naruto's answer. "Am I supposed to care?" asked Naruto coldly. "What?" said all the Hyuga in shock. Before Kurenai could even blink, all the 4 Hyugas were lying flat on the ground and had blood leaking from their mouths. Impossible, thought Kurenai in shock. Only a few people had the ability to attack a Hyuga directly, less 4 of them. They could see an attack, even if their Byakugan was not active. Their eyes could still see a direct attack. After all, they had the most precise eyes in the world. Only an ANBU captain, or Kage-level shinobi could take down 4 Hyugas in a flash. Like I said before, Hinata's performance was pathetic. She was a ninja under my command, and I reported her performance during the mission honestly to the Hokage. What happens to her after that, or what your clan does to her is none of my business," said Naruto stoically. "But, she was your friend, you know how much her father dislikes her, he just wanted a chance to cast her aside for Lady Hanabi," said a Hyuga in pain, and, asked Naruto stoically. "Bastard, you sold her out," said a middle-aged Hyuga angrily. Naruto just looked at the 4 men who were groveling in the dirt. "Appearances can be deceiving, like you made the mistake of assuming I'm a kind-hearted person," said Naruto distastefully. "You could have saved her from this, you could have not revealed the truth and bashed her afterwards," said Ko tiredly. "Do I look like a babysitter to you?" asked Naruto angrily. "Huh?" asked Ko confusedly. "I am a chunin of this village, and the only loyalty I have is to the Hokage and myself. I don't care about your clan, nor do I care what you do to Hinata. Your clan is pathetic if they cast aside its heir without giving her a chance. All of you are the same. You think you have the right to judge people. The four of you accused me of selling her out. Hayashi accused his own daughter of being a weakling and didn't even do anything to help her. Who is the bastard now? Asked Naruto hatefully. You filthy little nine-tailed fox, said Ko angrily. Naruto gave him a hard punch to the face that sent him flying several feet away. He was just about to attack the rest of the Hyugas, when a voice stopped him. That's enough, Naruto, yelled Kurenai loudly. And the thing which she saw shocked her to the core. Naruto's Sharingan was active, but instead of a 3-tomo Sharingan, it was now a shuriken. She could clearly see the hatred in his eyes. This was not her Naruto. Flashback end. She was still terrified by those eyes, the eyes filled with hatred. Kurenai knew deep down that Naruto had started to change a lot in the past few weeks. He was becoming more cold, and more distant from everyone. Naruto even visited her very little, and since the last 7 days she had not seen his face. The Hyuga incident was not reported as Hayashi apologized for his clan member's irresponsible action, and Naruto accepted it, saying he only retaliated as he was attacked first. As both the parties had reached a mutual agreement, the Hokage settled the matter. But Kurenai knew, Naruto was frustrated, he was hiding something big from her. She had known him for years, and she knew him better than anyone. At least that's what she thought. Until now. A few tears came in her eyes, as she thought about Naruto. His life was just a big sad story, but still he never gave up and fought against the odds, but it seemed he was always hiding something. Why? Why did you not tell me what was troubling you? And now this. Thought Kurenai sadly. She still hadn't accepted that Naruto had done such a genocide, and the only person who could prove her wrong. As the Hokage himself, the man could answer all her questions and show her the truth. For more figures landed beside her and started running with her. Kurenai looked at them and found they were none other than Kakashi, Anko, Sasuke and Sakura. But all of them looked different. For the first time, Kakashi was not holding his Ika book, and his eyes showed he wanted answers right now. His hands were clenched tightly, and the look on his face was hidden due to his face mask. He and Naruto were so close, it must have hit him hard, thought Kurenai sadly. If this is some kind of joke, then I'm going to murder the one who played it, said Anko furiously. What is this nonsense? Naruto-kun cannot do such a thing, this is wrong, said Sakura defiantly. Kurenai looked at both the females. Anko had a kunai closely pressed in her hand, and right now someone had really pissed her off. Naruto was like a brother to Anko and the only person who could relate to his pain. Sakura had a shocked look on her face, but her eyes showed she was not accepting that one of her best friends was now the biggest traitor of Konoha, after Orochimaru and Itachi Uchiha. The only person who was not showing any feelings was Sasuke. He was running in a robotic way, and he had a stoic look on his face. It was as if he had gone through such feelings before. But the anger he had was going to surface soon, if someone didn't give him any answers, and his active Sharingan showed he was out for blood. Naruto was the only family he had left, he was the pillar that was supporting him. And right now he felt as if someone had just stabbed him in the back, and memories of that night were coming back in his mind. No. This is not true, not again, thought Sasuke furiously. Kurenai, it will be fine, Naruto is innocent, we all know this, said Sakura warmly, and put a hand on her shoulders. Kurenai gave a grateful smile to the girl, she was really thankful that these four had not given up on Naruto. The entire village was in an uproar, and everyone was furious, and everywhere shouts of "Kill the demon! That bastard! We should kill the traitor! Monster! Butcher!" All of these shouts were breaking Kurenai's heart with each passing moment. She couldn't believe the people which Naruto had protected with his life, had so quickly turned against him. They were calling him a monster, when they had a part in making Naruto grow up this way. How dare they have no right to say such things to him, after what they did," said Kurenai murderously. Couple of other people called Naruto a monster, and Kurenai couldn't take it anymore. She took out a kunai from her pouch and jumped in the air, in order to slice their heads off. But someone grabbed her roughly and dropped her on the rooftop again. It was Kakashi, and he was looking at her calmly. "This isn't the time to get emotional and do something rash," scolded Kakashi. "But they are said Kurenai in protest, but was stopped when Kakashi leaked his ki. "Kurenai Yuhi, you are a jounin of Konoha, behave like one. Your personal feelings don't matter right now, we have a situation at hand, and we need to get to the Hokage for further information." "Get yourself together," said Kakashi harshly. "Kakashi, you said Anko in shock, she had never seen him speak so harshly. It only showed how much hurt he was, and so badly he wanted answers. "Let's go, Sasuke," said Kakashi flatly. Both the men nodded, and hurriedly took off to the roofs, leaving the women behind in shock. "That baka, I'm going to kill him," said Anko irritatingly. "Why can't they understand, Kurenai is in pain," said Sakura sadly. "They are right, I was reckless, let's go to Hokage-sama, only he can say this nightmare is just a bad dream," said Kurenai stoically. "Are you alright?" asked Anko worriedly. Like Kakashi said, my personal feelings don't matter. The only thing that matters is getting Naruto out of this mess, said Kurenai firmly. "Hi," said Sakura and Anko with determination. All the kunoichi started running across the roofs quickly and soon reached up to their male counterparts. All of them nodded at each other and entered the Hokage tower, and made their way towards Hiruzen's office at lightning speed. Hiruzen heard footsteps approaching his position, and from the looks of it, it must be them. Looking at the ANBU commander beside him, a tired sigh escaped from his lips. "It's time to face them," said the ANBU commander calmly. "God help us both," said Hiruzen tiredly. "After what we did, there can be no mercy for us, sir," said the ANBU commander sadly. "Is the evidence Naruto purposefully left behind ready?" asked Hiruzen quickly, as the footsteps were just on his door. "Hi," said the ANBU commander firmly. The door of the office was roughly opened and 4 figures stepped in quickly. They didn't give any salute, they didn't even acknowledge the ANBU commander, and said one thing. "We need answers now." Hideout. Naruto sat calmly on top of Nono's house. There was a small bingo book in his hand, which had his picture in it. "So it has begun," said Naruto calmly. "What are you going to do?" asked Kurama curiously. "Nothing is going to change, the mission will proceed as planned," said Naruto firmly. "But you need to rest for a few more days, and find that woman if you want to live," said Kurama sternly. "Now is not the time," said Naruto mysteriously. Kurama just got pissed after hearing the boy's careless answer. "You idiot, you have 6 months left of your miserable life, and you are saying you don't have time to find the one person who can save your ass," said Kurama furiously. "Precisely, I am already behind schedule, and I have to complete size objectives too, that leaves me no time to find Tsunade, there is no option left," said Naruto softly, even though he didn't want to die, but the mission came first no matter what. "I believe I can help you there," said a mysterious voice. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise, as someone had just gotten behind his back. Even if he was not in a good condition, he should have sensed any Chunin, or even Jounin if they were near him. That only left one option. The person behind him must be an ANBU, and a damn good one. He turned around and saw his prediction was true, as there was an ANBU standing behind him with a sword strapped on his back. But the most unique thing was his black wolf face mask. ANBU tossed a small scroll to Naruto, who catched it carefully. He then saw the mark which the scroll had on it. "He is definitely sent by the Hokage," thought Naruto as he remembered the seal which his scroll had too. "I'm your new partner in Operation Ghost," said the ANBU stoically. Naruto looked at the man suspiciously. He didn't know who this soldier was, and whether he could trust him or not. "Who are you?" asked Naruto carefully. ANBU slowly removed his black wolf mask and now looked at Naruto calmly. We need answers now." Hiruzen calmly stared at the four people in front of him. Kakashi was looking at him very seriously and was in no mood for any silly jokes. Anko was looking at him as if he had just killed the closest person in her life. She was ready to kill if he said the wrong word. Even though Hiruzen knew Anko was no match for him, in fact no one in the room was, he still felt a little uncomfortable with the look Anko was giving him. Kurenai had a desperate look in her eyes. He could see anger in those ruby eyes too, and he prayed to Kami-sama to give the woman strength. Sakura looked worried and nervous. There were two reasons. One was the Ki that the three jounins in the room were leaking, and the other reason was for her friend Naruto. Sasuke was looking at Hiruzen. His Sharingan was active, and the only thing he needed was answers. A few more footsteps were heard, and soon more people rushed in the room. They were none other than Shikamaru, Ino, Chuji, Kiba, Hinata, Shino and Asuma. "Kakashi-sensei, what is going on?" asked Hinata worriedly. Ever since she heard the news that her Naruto-kun was labeled a missing nin, she felt scared. Even after being casted into the side branch, she never blamed Naruto for this. She had realized her mistake and was now working with Neji to improve her skills, and prove to Naruto-kun that she was a good shinobi too. Surprisingly, Neji had become a lot more helpful to her. When she was in the main branch he gave her disrespectful looks and taunts, but now as she worked as a member of the side branch with the cursed seal on her head, Neji had warmed up to her. Some good had come out of this unfortunate incident, as she had got her brother back. Neji was also helping her improve her skills, and she really hoped to make everyone proud in the Chunin exams. Ino rushed toward Sakura and grabbed her hurriedly. She had a worried look in her eyes as Naruto was a very close friend of hers too. "Sakura, is this true?" asked Ino fearfully. Sakura looked in her friend's eyes. What could she say? The entire village had already accepted Naruto as a traitor. There must be strong evidence against him if the Hokage had labeled him a traitor. Only a handful people believed he was innocent. And almost all of them were present in this room, if one excluded the Ichiraku family, Irika, and the Hokage's family. "I don't know, Ino, I don't know," said Sakura gently. Shikamaru and Shino stood beside Sasuke quietly. Shino appeared to be calm, but if one could see carefully there was a little sweat on his forehead showing he was worried too. "That troublesome Naruto, he always drags us in some kind of mess," said Shikamaru tiredly. Kiba smacked Shikamaru harshly on the head, and yelled at him furiously. "You lazy ass, he is our friend and I won't believe he committed such a genocide," said Kiba harshly. Asuma looked at Kurenai. She looked broken and was just standing there quietly. He went towards her but was stopped when Kakashi put a hand on his shoulder, and whispered silently in his ears. "Asuma, if you don't want to die a painful death, leave her alone right now," said Kakashi mysteriously. Asuma looked at the masked man curiously, but then his eyes widened in shock as he saw Kurenai had gripped her hand so tightly that blood was leaking from them now. "She's pissed," thought Asuma worriedly. Chuji was standing beside Anko. Everyone was talking with someone except Kurenai, and he decided to talk to the person next to him. Anko-sensei," said Chuji slowly. He knew the woman had a very bad temper and didn't want her to vent out her anger at him. "What?" snapped Anko furiously. Chuji took a few steps back, and now stood beside Ino, who smacked him on the forehead. "Never mind," said Chuji tiredly. Anko looked away and Chuji now had to listen to Ino's loud shouts as he had accidentally stepped over her leg. Everyone started talking with each other, as they all wanted to know what the hell was going on, and if any of them knew something. After a few moments, the pressure in the room increased as a large Ki flared in the entire room. All the genins, including Sasuke and Sakura, collapsed from the pressure and were now lying flat on the ground. Even the Jounin were feeling very uncomfortable with so much Ki. Everyone looked at the Hokage and the ANBU commander expecting any one of them to be the source of such killing intent, but both the men were sitting calmly. Hiruzen had a surprised look on his face and was looking in the center of the room. Everyone's eyes widened in shock, as the Ki was of Kurenai, and the look in her eyes was murderous. "Will you idiots shut up?" yelled Kurenai angrily. "Kurenai," said Anko in shock, as she had never seen her so angry and dangerous. Kakashi took the cue, as he realized Kurenai had reached the limit of her patience, and he had to start the conversation quickly. Fortunately, all the genin in the room were not stupid. Even Kiba shut his mouth and was now standing up slowly as Kurenai stopped her Ki, but still was glaring at Hiruzen seriously. "Hokage-sama, we request you to tell us what is going on," asked Kakashi curtly. A few moments ago he had been overburdened due to his emotions, but still Hiruzen was his leader, and if he disrespected him, he could surely be killed. A tired sigh escaped from Hiruzen's lips and he rubbed his forehead with his hands. "Make the preparations," said Hiruzen stoically. "Hi," said the ANBU commander firmly, and vanished in an instant. Hiruzen then looked at his subordinates. He knew they were heartbroken, and what he was about to do would shatter all their beliefs, especially Kurenai. But he had a feeling Kurenai would survive this harsh time, so he had to hand it to Naruto. Even in such a situation, he had formed a devious plan to help Kurenai cope up with her depression, and fulfill his own objectives too. That boy was one bloody son of a bitch. "I will answer all your questions, as I'm fully aware of what you are going through. But I ask all of you to ask questions one at a time," said Hiruzen gently. Everyone nodded, and Kurenai soon stepped forward and looked at Hiruzen. "Hokage-sama, Naruto is innocent, there has to be some misunderstanding," pleaded Kurenai. Hiruzen's heart really broke. The thing he was about to do was a grave sin. He was totally going to erase the kind and gentle Naruto from these people's minds, and replace it with a monster. "Damn you, Tobirama-sensei," thought Hiruzen angrily. He felt ashamed of doing this. Every fiber in his body was telling him not to do this, but for the sake of many a few soldiers have to be sacrificed. It was the same in the past, it was the same right now, and it would be the same in the future. This world was truly merciless. "I'm afraid, you are wrong, Kurenai." "It was Naruto," said Hiruzen gravely. Kurenai quickly came forward and slammed her hands on his desk roughly, and looked at him angrily. "How can you say this? You know Naruto, he can never do such a genocide. Less his own comrades, he fought for all of us for years, despite what the village did to him," yelled Kurenai angrily. Hiruzen put his hand on Kurenai's hand and looked at her sympathetically. "The Naruto you knew, all of us knew, was nothing but an illusion," said Hiruzen sadly. "What do you mean?" asked Ino curiously. "In order to make you understand, you must first know the truth about Naruto's life," said Hiruzen slowly. "Hokage-sama," said Kakashi, Anko, Asuma and Kurenai in shock. Even Sasuke and Sakura were shocked. Was he really going to tell Naruto's truth to the rest of the people now? "It seems Naruto had some dark secrets," said Shikamaru sharply. "I don't understand," said Kiba in confusion. "My bugs always felt something strange about him, it was as if he was dangerous, as if he had something dark hidden in him," said Shino calmly. He indeed had some theories but didn't want to speak without any proof. "You're correct, Aburame Shino, Naruto had something evil in him," said Hiruzen firmly. "Please explain it in simple words," requested Chuji. All this mystery was bugging him. Hiruzen took a deep breath. It was time when Naruto's burden was revealed to his friends. "What I'm about to tell you is an S-rank secret, which no one of you shall utter without my permission. The penalty for breaking this law is execution of you as well as your entire family," said Hiruzen strictly. All the genins took a step back in fear, as Hiruzen leaked some Ki to make his point clear. "What kind of secret is this, could it be?" thought Shikamaru in confusion. He thought everything he knew about Naruto, his fake smiles, the day he beat Sasuke so badly. That day he had realized Naruto had something dark in him, Shino's bug's reaction to Naruto's presence, and all the glares Naruto received whenever Shikamaru was with him. "What was Naruto's birthday again?" asked Shikamaru quickly. Hiruzen looked surprised. It seemed Shikaku's son was as sharp as him. October 10th, said Hiruzen calmly, and gave Shikamaru a knowing look. Shikamaru's eyes widened in shock, as he understood the entire situation. One look in the Hokage's eyes showed him that his theory was true. He looked at his side, and Shino was giving him the same look, indicating he had come to the same conclusion as well. Looking at the down faces of Kakashi, Enko, Asuma, Kurenai, and even Sasuke and Sakura shocked him further. "So, you knew it too, Sakura, Sasuke?" said Shino flatly. Sakura looked at Aburame and answered in a sad voice. "Yes, we know," said Sakura simply, while Sasuke just gave a nod. Naruto had already told them that he had the Kyuubi sealed in him, when they were made a team and he was appointed as the leader. "Can somebody tell me what is going on?" asked Kiba irritatingly. "What do you children know about the Kyuubi incident that happened 14 to 15 years ago?" asked Hiruzen sharply. "Only that the fourth Hokage defeated the Kyuubi but had to sacrifice his life too," said Hinata simply. "It's a lie, isn't it, Hokage-sama?" asked Shino flatly. "What? Shino, if that is a lie, what happened to the Kyuubi and why this is related to Naruto?" asked Ino curiously. "A tailed beast can never be killed, much less the Kyuubi. There is only one way to stop them," said Kakashi slowly. "What is the way?" asked Chuji curiously. "They are sealed away, but it is not any object. It requires a living vessel in case of the Kyuubi, as it is the most powerful tailed beast in the world," said Kurenai sadly. All the Genin's eyes widened in shock, as a very horrible feeling started developing in their gut. "The nine-tailed fox is sealed inside of Naruto, by the fourth Hokage," said Hiruzen, shocking the remaining rookies. All of their eyes were wide in shock. Shikamaru and Shino were less shocked than the others, but that didn't mean that they were not moved by this news. "This can't be true," said Hinata sadly. Even more tears came in her eyes as she now realized how much Naruto must have suffered. "It's horrible," said Ino in fear. She never wished such a fate even on her enemy, much less one of her best friend. Kiba's anger increased as he now understood why people glared at Naruto. They were stupid. How could they compare his friend with that monster fox? Inuzuka valued friendship the most, and Naruto was his good friend, and he had done injustice. "Why?" asked Kiba angrily. "What do you mean?" asked Hiruzen curiously. "Why was that beast sealed in my friend?" asked Kiba angrily. "If the nine tails was sealed in an adult, Naruto wouldn't have to suffer so much." "It's all your fault. Do you Hokages think you are God? What right do you have to this?" yelled Sasuke angrily. Everyone was quite shocked by Sasuke's outburst. Never in their entire lives had they seen him so angry. "The nine tails cannot be sealed in an adult, it would kill the person instantly. Only a child whose chakra coils have not been developed can contain the Kyuubi," said Hiruzen seriously. "But why Naruto? Why not anyone else?" asked Kurenai with tears in her eyes. "It's because his own father considered him fit to bear this burden, and only trusted Naruto to wield the power of the nine tails to protect Konoha," said Hiruzen, shocking everyone in the room. Each and every person in the room except Kakashi had their mouths wide open, their eyes wide as saucers. They couldn't believe what they just heard. Kurenai felt as if the ground beneath her had just shattered. She had her doubts, but Naruto's face mask always prevented her from looking at his face clearly. Only recently, when they had sex, she was clearly able to see the similarities between Naruto and the fourth Hokage. "No way," said Ino in shock. "The fourth is his father," said Kurenai in fear. It meant Naruto knew everything. She couldn't imagine how horrible he must have felt when he had realized his own father condemned him to a life of hell. "But how could the Yondaime do such a thing to his son?" asked Hinata angrily. "He was a hero, said Shikamaru sadly, even as he looked up to the fourth. But now every respect he had for the man had been lost, no matter what reason the Yondaime had. Shikamaru could never stand for what he did to Naruto. In this world, there are no heroes, the Kages are the people who have to make tough choices, and the Yondaime considered Naruto, because he could not put such a burden on another child, said Hiruzen sadly. Hiruzen was quite shocked when Kurenai grabbed him roughly and slammed him against the wall. "Kurenai," said Anko worriedly and immediately tried to stop her friend. "I don't care what you Hokages have to face. Did the fourth even ask my Naruto before he sealed the beast in him? All of you are monsters," yelled Kurenai with tears in her eyes. It took Kakashi and Anko's combined efforts to get Kurenai off Hiruzen, and now Anko had pinned her to the ground and was now sitting on top of her. She felt bad for doing this to Kurenai. Her friend was yelling at her to let her go, but she didn't want Kurenai to get into more trouble and was restraining her. He wanted Naruto to be seen as a hero for keeping the Kyuubi at bay, said Hiruzen comfortingly. Kakashi snorted on hearing that. A hero? The villagers considered Naruto the opposite. "Now I see why you adopted him. You were the fourth's only remaining student, and we're a family to him," said Anko tactically. "Hi," said Kakashi tiredly. Before any further heated argument could escalate, and they got off topic, Asuma decided to step in. "This is indeed sad news, but Hokage-sama, Naruto did not bore any hatred towards this village. The will of fire burned brightly in him," said Asuma curiously. Hiruzen looked at his son. Even the others still were not believing, and now came the hard part. The door to the office opened again, and a person walked in that shocked Ino the most. It was none other than Inoichi Yamanaka, the head of the Yamanaka clan and a skilled interrogator. "Tsunade, what are you doing here?" asked Ino curiously. "He will show you what the villagers did to Naruto, before Kakashi adopted him. It would make you understand that Naruto hates every person in Konoha," said Hiruzen tactfully. "But how?" asked Chuji curiously. "Inochi was Naruto's counselor during his childhood and looked after his mental health," said Hiruzen patiently. "Is this true?" asked Ino curiously. Inoichi looked at his daughter. He really felt bad about revealing her friend's dark secret to her. Ino's beliefs would be shattered, but he had been ordered by Hiruzen to show this to the people in the room. But he knew all of this was fishy. Why was the Hokage going to so far ends to make these people believe that Naruto was a traitor? Putting that thoughts aside, he motioned everyone to connect each other's hands and stand in a circle. "Now I'm going to show you some of Naruto's memories. If it becomes too painful, just leave your hand," said Inoichi comfortingly. Kurenai hurriedly grabbed Anko's hand. She didn't know what had happened to Naruto that had changed him so much, and she would find out no matter what. "Are you ready?" asked Inoichi firmly. Everyone nodded, and Inoichi started his jutsu, and for the next few minutes, all the people watched how Naruto's early childhood was. The glares, the insults, the isolation, the beatings, all of it. When the jutsu ended, all the girls had tears coming from their eyes. Could people do such a thing to a child? Sasuke's hands were clenched tightly, his eyes were shut. He had enough. There was nothing left now. He got up and started walking towards the exit of the room, but Sakura's voice stopped him. "Sasuke, where are you going?" asked Sakura sadly. Tears were still falling from her eyes. Sasuke looked at his friend. All this pain, all this suffering, he and Naruto were the same. They knew the pain of being alone, and still Naruto had stood by him. He didn't care whether Naruto did that on purpose or not. He did not care whether Naruto wanted revenge or not. "That's my boy, work hard and you will bring glory to the clan. All your father ever talks about is you. We love you, Sasuke-chan. I'm always going to be there for you, even if it's just as an obstacle for you to overcome, even if you do hate me. That's what big brothers are for. You and I are brothers, you can count on me, Sasuke." All these voices rang in his mind. The pain became unbearable. His heartbeat increased and his chest felt heavy. "Tsunade, Ka-san, Itachi, Naruto," thought Sasuke sadly. Everything was gone, only he was left, all alone. Tears slipped from his eyes, and he clenched his hands tightly and suppressed the scream in his throat. He looked back at Sakura. He knew she had feelings for him. All the others were also looking at him, and the tears in his eyes. "Sakura, this place, This world, I don't care about it anymore, said Sasuke darkly and left the room. He walked down the dark hallways, the only thing he felt was despair, but something in him had changed. To-san, Ka-san, Itachi, Naruto, I will create a world where there is no suffering. His eyes snapped open and instead of a regular Sharingan there was a round circle with 3 short ends connected to the sides. Sasuke Uchiha had fallen to the Uchiha's curse of hatred. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it and until next time. Later.